Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the road to WrestlePalooza. Yay! A new era of new superstars, new wrestlers, or new matches. New what? New prices! Because we gotta pay $30 a month just to watch these 5-match format PLEs every month. Get out of here, man! I'm not paying for this. But whatever, who cares? Who cares about it now? We've been talking about this for months now. Talking about it now is not going to change anything. So let's talk about something different. I'm actually going to give WWE credit here, Yeah, me of all people is giving WWE credit. So yeah, here it goes. WWE did a pretty good job with the WrestlePalooza match card, I'm not going to lie. Because the show is actually shaping up to be pretty good. Now, that doesn't mean I'm all like, yay, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, I can't wait. No, that match is going to stink. But think about it, we got AJ Lee's first ever match in like 10 years. I am going to talk about AJ Lee's return, later in the video. Of course, because my bitch ass missed a SmackDown review. I know, I've been missing a lot of reviews, alright? Trust me, I know. I am trying my best. So yeah, I'll just apologize on the record. I am sorry, guys, alright? But I am back now. Yay! So yeah, with that being said, whoa, what were we even talking about, man? Oh yeah, AJ Lee's first ever match in 10 years. We got the Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. We got Io Sky versus Stephanie Valkyrie. So yeah, we got a bunch of great matches here. Not a bunch of great matches, but for WWE standards, this is a pretty good card. But then again, that doesn't mean I'm all like, oh yeah, Triple H, come here. I'm going to start sucking him off. No, that's not what we're going to do here. Right? Triple H still sucks. This guy still sucks as a booker, and now he's just doing the bare minimum. Why? Because of course, it's a new era. This is what we do here. This is what we do. This is what we do. Yeah, he's got to show off, right? He's got to show off in a new era, the so-called new era. New era, same old shit. But yeah, you get the point. Obviously, Triple H is going to be, pulling out all the big stars, doing a bunch of big stuff for his first ever show on ESPN to show like, oh, WWE, that's what we do. Yeah, you get the point, But after this, trust me, guys, WWE is going to be ass once again. What's the next PLE after WrestlePalooza, huh? Crown Jewel, right? Crown Jewel is going to be ass, right? I'm about to say this right now. Crown Jewel is going to be ass. So yeah, I know, WWE may be all happy and smiles right now, yay, AJ Lee's back, and yay, Brock Lesnar's back, and yay, the Usos are back, look at this, guys, look at that, look at this, look at that, but you guys gotta be smarter than this. We've been here before. We've been here when John Cena turned heel. We've been here when Seth Rollins turned heel and joined Paul Heyman. We've been here when R-Truth returned. It's always happy and smiles, but then you realize it's just a desperate move they pulled out of their ass just, to get some fan support, just to get the fans talking in that one instant. And that's exactly what this is, because the ESPN deal is going on, because it's going to kick off at WrestlePalooza, they want to make some big moves, and that's about it. After that, WWE is going to go full stale once again. I know some people are going to call me a hater and be like, just enjoy the product, bro. I don't care, right? I don't care. I see through the product and I criticize the product. That's what I'm doing right now. And you guys got to do the same as well. Stop falling for Triple H's brainwash tactics, all right? Just stop. You're smarter than this. Or, maybe you are. I'm just assuming here. But anyways, yeah, with that being said, let's talk about this show, Monday Night Raw. So let's get right into the review of Monday Night Raw. So the show kicks off with a good old classic. Hey, wait a minute, Jay Usos now in your city. Tahoe! It's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's line them all up, lock them down like this. Yeah, let's go, Oos. Yeah, the Usos are back, baby. Jimmy's here. Let's go. The Usos are back. Yeah, that's enough. Let's pick up the mic. Oh, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. One more time. Hey, use for the one time. Hey, my music. Oh, yeah. For this. One word. Get out of here, man. I mean, I get it. Of course, you gotta milk the crowd reactions. But, at least get rid of the one more time part. Come on. I'm not expecting them to stop doing Jey Uso's entrance, but stop making it 30 minutes. He's not a main eventer anymore. He's a tag team guy. That's enough, alright? Just end this whole 30-minute Jey Uso entrances every single week. I'm tired of it. If you want to do it on the PLEs, whatever. Not on Raw. Not on Raw before, a promo. Not even a match. And it's not even like Jey Uso's going to give us a 10 out of 10 promo. No, he's going to give us a half-assed BS promo where he doesn't even say half the words because he's busy stuttering. But what we get tonight isn't a garbage Jey Uso promo. We get a pretty good promo. Yeah, surprising, right? Not really, because it's not a Jey Uso promo. It's an Usos promo. That's why, because that's what Jey Uso's good at. He's just, it's just Jimmy, actually doing the promo, and Jey Uso's just doing the ad-libs, Jimmy Uso's like, oh yeah, did you get Uso? Did you get Uso? And then, Jey Uso's just in the background, yeah, Uso. Yeah, oh yeah, did you ooze, yeah, that's all Jey Uso's good at, and now, the fact that we had him as a main eventer for so long, cutting those, god-awful promos, it's just absolutely sickening, so I'm glad that Jey Uso's finally back in the tag team division where he belongs. So anyways, then we get a little yap set from the Usos where, obviously it's, oh, the Usos are back, the greatest tag team in the world is finally back, yeah, the same old, whatever you'd expect. And then we see Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and, Braun Breaker's like, Jimmy Uso, everything your family did to us, like, this guy was tweaking, dude. This guy was tweaking, and I don't know if he's doing this just to be funny, or if he's doing this, thinking he's actually looking intimidating. Whatever it is, this ain't it, buddy. Alright, just stop it. Just drop this act right now. Bronson Reed is more entertaining than you right now. That tells a lot. But anyways, then Bronson Reed picks up the mic, and he says, not tonight, Braun, not tonight. Why am I talking like Drew McIntyre, bro? Anyways, you get the point. He's like, oh yeah, not tonight, Braun. What we're gonna do now is make sure these two Roman Reigns' family members acknowledge the tribal thief. We're still doing this? Bro, Roman Reigns took his shoes back from you. You're not a thief anymore, right? Fake ass thief, get out of here. So anyways, then the Usos cut the good old classic Usos promo, where Jey Uso does the ad-libs like I talked about before, and they use that to roast like Seth Rollins' faction, the Vision. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to talk about it. Or maybe I did talk about it. I keep forgetting, man. I've missed so many reviews that I keep forgetting what I talked about and what I didn't talk about. But yeah, whatever, The Vision is a horrible name, by the way. I'm just going to get that out of the way. But yeah, they roast the Vision. They talk about every member. Not really every member, pretty much just Paul Heyman. But yeah, you get the point. And then the Usos say that they talked to Adam Pearce and they got the match made official, It's Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. The Usos are finally back versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at WrestlePalooza. So yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy that Jey Uso is finally back in the tag division. Jey Uso hate aside, I'm happy that the Usos are back, dude. The Usos are one of the greatest tag teams of all time, There's no question about that. They had one of my favorite matches of all time at WrestleMania 39. Like, that was amazing, dude. These guys are awesome as a tag team, so I'm glad that they're finally using them as a tag team instead of single stars, because, they were horrible as single stars, both of them. I mean, Jimmy Uso, not really, but you get the point. Anyways, then LA Knight shows up out of nowhere and starts brawling with Braun and Bronson, and then, Braun and Bronson just beat up LA Knight. LA Knight is just fighting a one-sided beef at this point, Like, nobody in the Vision actually cares about LA Knight. You think Seth Rollins actually scratches his head over LA Knight? No, he's thinking about CM Punk 24/7, When he's in bed with his wife, he's thinking about CM Punk. When he's in the ring, he's thinking about CM Punk. He's always thinking about CM Punk. And Braun and Bronson, they just beat up LA Knight whenever they see him, Nobody cares about LA Knight. Nobody in the Vision actually cares about LA Knight. He's fighting a one-sided beef at this point, and LA Knight deserves better. He deserves better, man. But anyways, whatever, then the Usos save LA Knight, blah, blah, blah. You get the point, and that's it for the segment. Whatever. Not bad for WWE standards. This was a pretty good segment, especially an opening segment. The opening of Raw has been horrible for like months now. So yeah, this is pretty good, when compared to all of those opening segments. So yeah, with that being said, let's just move on. Anyways, then we see AJ Styles, and there's one thing in particular that a lot of people are talking about when it comes to AJ Styles in the show, and it's what he said during commercial. He cut a promo during commercial, and he said, quote unquote, I don't have many friends in this business, guys. Lou Gallows and Carl Anderson got released. Michin is on SmackDown. When was Michin an ally of AJ Styles, bro? When did I miss that? But yeah, whatever, you get the point. He's all like, yeah, Gallows and Anderson are gone. Michin is on SmackDown. It's like people are, the company, or he doesn't say the company. He says somebody is trying to make sure that AJ Styles doesn't win matches. And he says, quote unquote, somebody doesn't want me here, guys. I know you people are not supposed to know that, but somebody doesn't want me here. That's what AJ Styles says, and obviously a lot of people are going, oh my god, AJ Styles exposed Triple H. Oh my god, AJ Styles piper. No, alright, you guys are getting worked. Your bitch asses are getting worked. You see, these are the kind of fans that Triple H takes advantage of, People who fall for everything. Yeah, that's right, guys. You're falling for everything. There's no way you possibly believe that AJ Styles went out there and exposed Triple H and cut a pipe bomb. No, alright? No! This guy was cutting a promo. A basic promo. That's just it. If you've been remotely following AJ Styles, even remotely following AJ Styles for the past, only 3 years or so, you would know that this guy's one of the biggest WWE butt lickers, alright? One of the biggest WWE butt lickers. I'm not even talking about, casual butt licking, just a few licks here and there, no, alright? I'm talking face buried deep between the cheeks. That kind of butt licking, alright? That's what AJ Styles does for WWE, and that's what he's been doing for about a decade now. This is not surprising, So no, AJ ain't going to no AEW. He ain't going anywhere, alright? His ass is staying in WWE. His ass is sitting through all the garbage, mediocre booking, and he's going to retire in WWE. It's as simple as that. And we've known this for about a decade now. So yeah, with that being said, whatever, let's move on to what we actually get. And that's AJ Styles versus El Grande Americano. And obviously on paper, I was like, oh my god, bro. What are they doing with AJ Styles? But yeah, whatever, this match actually ended up being pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I did enjoy this match a lot. And I will give credit where credit is due. Ludwig Kaiser as LA Knight has actually been pretty good. But anyways, yeah, then we get an interference from, Pete Dunne's El Grande Americano, and then, Dragon Lee Evans Diaz, whatever, that was pretty stupid. But the point is, AJ Styles wins. Thank God. I really thought this guy was going to lose to El Grande. So yeah, I'm thankful that he didn't. Whatever. Let's just move on. Please get AJ Styles out of this. Anyways, then we get Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez, and it's like, come on, man. Come on. Who cares about this? Come on, alright? Let's be for real here, alright? Because first of all, nobody cares about the new Judgment Day. Let's be very honest here. And two, nobody's going to care about Lyra Valkyria versus the new Judgment Day. Because it's so out of nowhere, it's so random, nobody's going to care about it. And three, this match was obviously not very good. I'm not here to say that, it was a terrible match, very botchy, everybody messed up. No, I'm not saying all that. But this was not good either, It's a waste of time, that's what it is. It's a waste of time. Let's just move on. Anyways, then it's finally time to light up our asses because AJ Lee is here for the first time in 10 years on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, AJ Lee returned on SmackDown, last Friday. Pretty cool, really cool as a matter of fact. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that AJ Lee is finally back. I did not see that coming at all, I mean, obviously there were reports. It did get leaked a little bit. But, before that, when Clash in Paris happened, I literally tweeted out, oh my god, guys, you gotta stop. You gotta stop with the AJ Lee theories. It's not happening. She's never gonna come back. But then, I was really shocked when I saw the news. So yeah, I don't know how WWE managed to actually get AJ Lee back. I thought, she would not be interested in wrestling at all. And I thought even if she comes back, she would be, a one-time thing. That's it, Maybe a part-timer at most. But she's full-time, apparently. That is crazy. And that is amazing, man. That's really amazing. And it's finally given the show a breath of fresh air, Just a fresh matches, just the possibility of getting so many fresh matches, especially for WrestleMania, that magnitude, just imagine. I mean, knowing Triple H, we're probably going to get some garbage match like AJ Lee versus Jey Uso or something. So yeah, I'm not going to speak too soon. So yeah, let's just get into this promo. So AJ Lee cuts a pretty good promo, She talks about, hey, in case you guys don't know who I am. In case you guys are new or young, my name is AJ Lee, and I am your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. That was a pretty good line, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, this was a pretty solid promo, I'm not gonna lie. AJ Lee did cut a pretty solid, pretty great promo as a matter of fact. She even talks about everything she did in the past 10 years. Her mental health and stuff like that. She talks about how, she seeked therapy and all that stuff. And she was finally back. She was doing doing great mentally. I can't talk, bro. So yeah, she said she was doing great mentally. She was finally in peace. Until she watched Monday Night Raw, and I was like, bingo! That's what I've been saying for the past few months. Even AJ Lee knows Triple H's booking sucks. But yeah, anyways, yeah, let's just get to the promo. So yeah, she talks about, Becky Lynch. She says it's one thing watching CM Punk fight Drew McIntyre, watching, her husband CM Punk fight guys like Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, or John Cena, but it's one thing seeing him in the ring with Becky Lynch. And she talks about Becky Lynch, how she thought she would like her, how, they actually have a lot in common. And then we see Becky Lynch, and she's just like, give me my toy tool back, you didn't earn it. Oh yeah, that's right, guys. AJ Lee has the IC title still, She still kept it from SmackDown. But yeah, Becky Lynch asked AJ Lee to give her title back, and then AJ Lee points out at Becky Lynch's black eye that she got from SmackDown during the brawl, and then Becky Lynch is like, oh my god, no, and she's running right, like, stop, alright? Stop overreacting. This is what Becky Lynch always does, bro. Like, heel Becky Lynch always does this, I swear to God, and it's so annoying. Like, even when AJ Lee returned on SmackDown, and Becky Lynch is like, oh my god, please, stay away from me, oh my god, like, bro, it's AJ Lee. She's like, what, 3'7"? I mean, yeah, she did end up whooping her ass, but like, come on, you don't need to be that scared of AJ Lee. Like, come on. You can be shocked, sure, but she was acting like Chris Benoit was in the ring or something. Like, come on, man. So anyways, yeah, then we see Seth Rollins, and he's all like, you better give her my title back. You better give the title back. Ha ha ha. And then obviously AJ Lee says that I will give her a title back if you guys agree to a tag match, a mixed tag match at WrestlePalooza. Obviously, AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Seth Rollins then accepts, after getting the ring and, doing a little promo with AJ Lee. And then, we see CM Punk, and he picks up Seth Rollins for a GTS out of nowhere. But Seth Rollins escapes, and, he escapes with Becky Lynch. And the match is officially official. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, I am happy with this, This feud with CM Punk and Seth Rollins desperately needed something new, and I'm finally glad that they got it, This is something fresh, and we desperately needed this. And, that doesn't mean I like this rivalry now, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins still sucks, and I hope it's going to be over as soon as possible, like as soon as possible. But I am glad that we're finally getting something fresh, and I do have high hopes for this. So yeah, with that being said, let's just move on. This was actually a pretty good segment. A great segment, I'm not gonna lie. I really did enjoy this. Wow. Let's just move on. Anyways, then we see Rusev versus Penta, and it's like, whatever, man. Like, I was actually expecting this to be a pretty good match, because, Penta and Rusev are obviously great wrestlers, and I just forgot his name, bro. Like, Rusev, obviously, yeah. Rusev is obviously, new to WWE. I mean, not really. You get the point, He came back to WWE just a few months ago. So, yeah, this was a fresh match, and I was excited to watch it. But it just kind of fell flat, Especially with interference from, like, Grayson Waller, The New Day. Like, come on, man. Just come on. So, yeah, with that being said, let's just move on, man. Nobody cares. Rusev obviously wins. Wow. Anyways, then we see Nikki Bella versus Asuka. Why? Let me tell you why. It's because Nikki Bella, she was doing something to Io Sky, Asuka's best friend. Oh my god, what was she doing to her? Oh my god, that's Asuka's best friend. What was she doing to her? She was talking to her. And obviously Asuka, they're telling this new story with Asuka where she's possessive of Io Sky and she doesn't want her talking to anybody. Like, come on, man. This is so forced. This is horrible, alright? Like, it's not believable at all. And all the backstage segments they do with this feud, or, whatever you want to call it, the story, they're all very stupid, and they make Io Sky look like a cuck. So yeah, whatever, this match, it was exactly what you'd expect a Nikki Bella versus Asuka match to be, Not good. So yeah, obviously Asuka wins. Whatever, let's just move on. Nobody cares. And now it's time for the main event. LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. How many variations of the same match are we gonna get, dude? I am tired of these Raw main events. We just had AJ Lee return on SmackDown, and now we're building the show around LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. Are you kidding me, man? So anyways, yeah, whatever, man. We got a whatever match with Jey Uso, LA Knight and Bronson Reed. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't very good either. It was just a whatever match, an average match. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. An average match between LA Knight and Bronson Reed, where, Bronson Reed just wins. Like, come on, man. Like, this is what I'm talking about, LA Knight is fighting a one-sided beef at this point. Because, like I said, Seth Rollins doesn't care about him. And, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker just beat his ass up every single time. So, yeah, nobody cares about, this LA Knight's beef with, the Vision or whatever. Nobody cares about it. So, let's just move on from it. But then, obviously, we got to get the same old beat down from the Vision after the match. Blah, blah, blah. You get the point. It's the same thing every single week. But obviously, then we hear, and then Jey Uso makes the rescue, which was pretty surprising, apparently, because, Jey Uso left the building in a backstage segment or something. So, yeah, obviously, Jay, Jimmy, and LA Knight take out the heels. LA Knight does, kind of save Jey Uso, and then Jey Uso, repays LA Knight with a spear. That's right, and, Jey Uso hits LA Knight with a spear, and the crowd starts booing. And everybody's like, oh my god, heel Jey Uso, heel Jey. No way you're actually excited about this, man. No way you're actually excited about a story, about heel Jey Uso. Nobody cares about this. You know, even in the backstage segment, Jimmy Uso's like, Jay, you're starting to sound like Roman, Jay. You're starting like, who cares, man? Like, who cares about them? That's such a bad story. Nobody, just bring back the Usos. That's it. That's all you got. Just stick to the basics. Stick to the basics. You just gotta do the bare minimum, alright? We don't want to heal Jey Uso. That's gonna suck. But whatever, man. Nobody cares about this because we did get one good thing after that. We got one good thing, and let me tell you what it is. The show ends. Yeah, that's the best part of the show, guys. The show ending. Okay, fine. You know, maybe I'm not gonna, be too harsh on the show because it wasn't as bad as a lot of the Monday Night Raws we've had in this past year, We did get some bright spots here and there. One very bright spot, as a matter of fact. I mean, not really a bunch of bright spots. It was just whatever. Just that one AJ Lee segment, that was the only good part of the show. Everything else just kind of fell flat, It's just whatever. Nobody cares. I'm going to give this show a 4 out of 10, but obviously we're going to give it a Jey Uso tax because they had Jey Uso in the main event. I'm going to give it a Jey Uso tax, so -1. The show gets a 3 out of 10. So yeah, with that being said, that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.